You're fixing quantum computing's capacity to perceive reality in a humble way, in a way that an eternal, faithful person, that they take the spirit of that human being and crystallize it in one of the physical forms and then try to turn it into a god. Okay. When you're, like they did with Judah Krishnamurti and others. Okay. And so when you, I've gotten that with people too. You're very insulting of Hinduism. Hinduism, has the moral structures. If you go look at Judah Krishnamurti and you look at Hinduism, and a lot, they couldn't be more different. Okay, and Krishnamurti even explained that. He was with Brahmins, they won't kill anything. Okay, but like I've said many times, if you try to get through life without killing anything, you kill yourself. It's not necessarily killing. This is a life of sacrifice. Okay? In order to live, you have to eat the apple or the tomato. If you don't eat the apple or the tomato, the birds will. Okay? And then you can't eat the bird. It's, if you don't eat the chicken, the coyote will. If you don't domesticate the dog, the wolf will eat your children. So you got to understand balance, harmony, and understanding. Okay, you got to be very. It's often a difficult proposition at best, being a gracious good shepherd, and how to get through it without ruffling everybody's feathers. Right, but like I said, when Sly disappeared and I saw that hawk, I said, that makes sense. That cat has, over his 17 years or so that we've had him here, has eaten more birds, chased more birds, and catch more birds and eat more birds. So if the hawk caught him and ate him, I can see that, as he gets older. And, I'm very careful, and I warn Betsy. I tell her, if you hear the hoot owls, if you go out looking while you're out, who's making love with your old lady, while you're out making love, while you're hunting the bird in the bush, the hawk or the owl is watching you from the radio tower. So you got to understand, okay, respect for life, respect for the snake, respect for that. You got to understand what a coral snake can do to you. You got to understand so you have to be a very intelligent person, very calm and very intelligent. Okay. Know what to do. If you get bit, know what to do to make sure you don't die from it. Lots of very crucial ways of understanding eternity and sharing the authority of wisdom of eternity without becoming an arrogant, aggressive, self-righteous, pompous, egotistical, God is my head and obey my head person, right? So it's, and I don't worry, I used to get all upset about stuff, and I don't anymore. I understand you guys make your decisions, and, you got that woman in Minneapolis killed because you want to play games over money rather than stand up for a Lord's Prayer. Okay, but how many people die every day because you will play games over money and not stand up for a Lord's Prayer? When it becomes a sensationalized news story to continue your professional wrestling with politics, then it's, this person died. Well, but how many people, you didn't care when that little lady died from cancer in El Paso and said, use my body to do research with millions of dollars to save people from cancer. It's like you don't save people from cancer. Okay, they endure their cancer, and some of them survive it a little bit longer and some don't. Some give up and die because life isn't worth living, and some, we catch it early and adapt them early to the disgustingness of the traffic in El Paso and Las Cruces because of economic conflict and warfare, because the people at Fort Bliss and White Sands are addicted to it. I know how intelligent I am. Okay, I don't need a bunch of assholes to come up and give me a award and $100,000 and say, here, Bert, go dig up rocks. Rock show, rock show, rock show. Yeah, I don't need people to tell me how intelligent I am. I know Sheldon Cooper is a smelly pooper that asks you for money to watch him play with his poop in plastic bowls on TV, but make sure that you got this mustard and that rice and so forth and so on and so forth. Right? I know how intelligent I am, and I know how unintelligent the people on TV manipulating people over money to feel powerful are not intelligent. Okay, I know Elon Musk is an egomaniac who has bad brain activity that is um, destructive to himself and his own environment. Okay, or he wouldn't want to go to Mars. Why do you want to go to Mars? I understand they want to go to Mars to mine Mars in case they want to go screw up another planet being egomaniacs with brain chemical addictions. And my thing is if we'll cross that bridge if we get to it, or when we get to it. You know, well, you got to if you don't plan, if you fail to plan, you don't plan to fail, you fail to plan. Yeah, sound like Obama. Look, okay, forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. Okay, stop destroying each other and your own planet. Then we'll see about going to, okay, so there's other things outside of our hemisphere, outside of our realm of, that's causing problems where it's like, okay, our Kal-El is not going to exist anymore, so send Superman to Earth, right? So you see what I'm saying? I'm using my imagination. Look, when you're insane, it is hard to explain to yourself, okay, and to others that you're not insane. Okay, do you understand? It's very difficult. You're always defending yourself. You're always, I didn't do that. I didn't know. No, I wasn't on Epstein's island. Bill Clinton support this message. You see what I'm saying? So, but when you're insane, it affects everybody. And instead of a man having privacy in his house, having a faithful sexual relationship with his 19-year-old wife when he's 33, you have the whole faith-forsaken, pathetic Pentagon, Mormon Church, and Vatican in your bedroom manipulating everything. And then you sit there and say, there's nothing conclusive about any of the scientific experiments that are going on in the world today, period. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. If you have to study people scientifically because Jeffrey Dahmer exists as Jeffrey Dahmer and Carl in the cell, then we'll figure it out. But how are those dynamics going to present themselves when we're applying the physics of the Lord's Prayer and living the faith of Psalms and the wisdom of Proverbs? It's going to be extraordinarily difficult for Jeffrey Dahmer's circumstances to Night at Freddy's 2, a bone temple that, good gravy, get your living dead the fuck out of here. It's going to be very difficult for I Am Legend to exist. Like the dude, the old man who's going to get the prostitute, okay, on Girls Trip, right? And does his naked genitalia in the window to him, right? Okay? The man has a shorn scrotum and a six-pack, okay? How many homeless people that are using prostitutes and killing themselves with drugs and alcohol have a shorn scrotum and a six-pack? Okay. That guy just wanted to take the part in the movie to show off, hey, you look at me, I got a six-pack and a shorn scrotum, I'm ready for sex with you. That's why he took the part in the movie. For some people to go, oh, hey, and he likes showing his genitalia to people. Makes him feel good, mama, right? Boy, that was funny, wasn't it, though? See, so, and people getting drunk and peeing on people in New Orleans in the street. Well, we do have Mardi Gras. Yeah, and that's funny to you? Okay. Funny isn't Natalie doing Zoolander faces to make us late for school in the morning? No, that's funny. Okay. And Emily finally losing it? No, that's funny. Okay. Funny is life unedited with people that are functional or trying to be functional in this dysfunction. That's funny. Okay, Noah's funny. I want to pet the snake. Don't be an nincompoop. That's funny. Okay. No, it really is. Okay. But people being completely dysfunctional and fucked up and making fun of other dysfunctional, fucked up people, Jimmy Kimmel's not funny. Okay. Gutfeld's not funny. Okay. He's a man who makes millions of dollars off of genocidal dysfunction making jokes about it. That's pathetic. Okay? He's a pathetic individual. Gutfeld and Kimmel are pathetic individuals. Okay? They're two sides of the same dirty diaper, depending on, what you like, what offends you more, pee or poop. When you boom boom or so you guys are nuts. Okay? You're broken and you're sick. Okay? Play football after you apply the physical Lord's Prayer. If not, you're just a bitch like Tom Cruise and Paramount and UFC fighting. Okay? Don't beat the hell out of other people for make-believe money for other people's entertainment. Okay? If you want to be seen publicly to oppress somebody, make sure that I see you standing up for the Lord's Prayer. Okay? Then you're impressive. Right? Don't you want to be impressive to someone that is worthy of your, being impressed of you? Of all the people in the world that you want to sit there and say, hey, I made an impression on this guy. He thinks I can be a faithful person and live in the kingdom of heaven. It's me. Okay? Because they're liars, because they're manipulators, and because they're vicious and selfish and stupid, you shouldn't care what multi-tech billionaires think of you and all their propaganda toolbacks. Okay? It's not important what Jamie Lee Curtis thinks of you. It's not important what Michelle Yao thinks of you. It's not important what Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande think of you. What's important is, what do I think of them? And then what can they do for you and me to live the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer, the faith of Psalmers, and sustain it with the wisdom of Proverbs. Or Psalmers. I screw that up all the time. Yeah, I do that with a lot of things. I screw up. When I'm talking, I screw up and say this and that when I should have said this. Left, and it happens. But the technology is intelligent enough to understand what I'm saying, and that I said mother-in-law when I should have said stepmother. Okay? That I said Charlton Heston when I should have said Charlie Bronson. Okay? The quantum computing knows that. Okay? That I'm human. Okay? And I'm not a computer. And when they have the computer voices on those videos, they will say wine is, what is he calling this guy? And then it'll say his dad's name. It'll say Winans. Okay. And all through the video, they're calling him Winans, or I don't know what they say. And it's like, who is he talking about? And then finally, when his dad, so-and-so Winans died, it's like, yeah, so, okay. Who are they talking? Damon, but they kept calling him Wayne. And so, who are they talking about? Who's in this video? I watched a video on Damian Wayans, right? And they kept calling him, the computer voice guy kept calling him Winans or Winans. And then I'm like, who are you talking about? I've been watching the video on Damon Wayans, right? But he keep calling him Why. He keeps saying, why? Who is he talking? Who's Wawa? This is Baba Wawa. like, where's Gilda Radner when you need her? But, I'm sitting there watching this video, and it's made with a voice from, it's weird. Have you heard a lot of those videos? They will do that. It gets on my nerves. They be saying the name wrong all through the video. And then they'll say it through another person, and it'll say it correctly. And it's like, why wasn't you saying it correctly the whole video? Y'all just fucking with my head. And I believe that's true. It's entirely tangible. Just to make you go, these motherfuckers are getting on my, you know what I'm saying? And so I think there's so many things meant to agitate you. And the agitation. And that's like when I play my video game, DT Suzuki in my head always tells me, Earl, it's an evil, interactive, manipulative cartoon. Because like when I play a UTEP, it is like demonic what EA Sports does with the University of Texas at El Paso. Demonic. Even when I play with them, I'm playing 1 and 6 FAU, right? And their safety is sacking me left and right. And I had the most athletic quarterback in the country, right? I always, me, I always go get the athletes that are Lamar Jackson, the white guys that I take and put 24 medium on. Because it's just wrong for us. Nah, I saw Tim Tebow play and I saw Lamar Jackson play. And Tim Tebow is a good athlete and a good quarterback. Okay. But he ain't no Lamar Jackson. Okay. No. No. He's no Randall Cunningham. No. He's a very good player. Okay. He played on a very good team. And he did what he needed to win, Like Robbie Bosco, right? And Ty Dittmer, right? But we all know that Ty Dittmer ain't no Josh Allen, right? And Robbie Bosco neither. But Robbie Bosco won a national championship, right? T. Martin won the national championship. He's a good football player, okay? But as far as quarterbacks go to win, with a lot of really good players and stuff like that, you're going to probably do better playing with Peyton Manning at quarterback than T. Martin. But in college, where you're playing against when you're playing against all the pros and stuff like that, you're going to want the 6th-round draft pick from the University of Michigan because he reads coverages real fast and he's got a quick release. Rip the seam, right? And get tackled by the old lady with the pizza, right? Yeah, no, it's when you get into the pros, it's all about read recognition and release. Okay. And if you can't do that, you're Lamar Jackson. And then if you can do that and you're Lamar Jackson, then it's like, shit. And it's like, God dang, what do you do? He's got read recognition and release. And if he runs, that's probably Josh Allen, pretty much, yeah. Okay, so you got read recognition and release. And then if he can't have that, then he can run. Tom Brady's like, well, I'm going to have to chase a sack or throw it away. Okay, because I can't run. We all know that. What are you doing? He's hobbling. You got a problem? Got a hip problem? Damn that lumbago. I'm just kidding. No, some guys are like that. I had friends, that say, you just can't run real fast, can't you? Okay. All right. No wonder you're such a good shot. That's why he's so good at passing the field. He's a good shot. Okay. And then I'm both. both. I'm an excellent shot and perhaps I was the fastest person on the planet in my generation and probably one of the most deft passers and stuff. Strongest arm? No, not the strongest arm, like Joe Montana, But I worked out and got in shape, 55 yards. Yeah, I could drop a dime 55 yards. Probably, yeah, work out and get myself in shape because I could do stuff. But as far as John Elway and throw it 75 yards, I don't know. Maybe if the adrenaline hit me, the world will never know. Not that we really care. Why should we care? It's just a gladiator sport. Are you not entertained? Shut the fuck up before I kick you in the dick so hard. Your generations feel it. They did. That's why people pray to me to save them from your ego. And they don't pray to you to save them from my faith. Okay? There's very isolated pockets of people praying in the Temple of Set Illuminati or in the Scientology Sea Org to save their egos from my faith. Okay? But Holy Quran, Batman, and peace be with you, and also with you. Early bird, right? So yeah, it's radically different. There are more people throughout time praying to the spirit of me to save them and their family from your egos than there is pockets of Scientology and the Quorum of the 12 and the Vatican praying to save their egos from my faith. And you can't save egos from faith. You can only save people with faith from egos because life's eternal and grace is infinite. And your delusions of authority and grandeur are a threat to the entire planet and species. Want to go to Mars? That's what I thought. Where are you at, on the North Pole? How's it going? Is that your washing machine? It'd be nice. It'd be nice if Don Juan and Brock Insane and what's the other kid's name? Elon the Musker could stop being a Tusker for FCS Midwest. It'd be nice. Be nice, but it's just not happening, man. I think Kristi Noem a couple times either thought or felt she wanted, Jesus help. People do that. Yeah, people do that. When I pray, no, it's radically different. I basically pray, "Come all ye faithful," because when I pray to Jesus, He says, "Are all." Did you? No, I didn't carry the cross. Did you? Shut up, Jesus. Smart ass. So you have to pray differently. So I pray differently. I ask for all the faithful to, focus on what is right and what is good, so we can all do it and we can work and correct this technology if that's what we need to do to start living the Lord's Prayer immediately. So when I pray, it's radically different than when you do. You pray to your alter ego pretending you're Jesus, or you pray to your alter ego pretending that you're talking to Muhammad, telling God who to kill and who not to kill and what to do. I pray to all the faithful to help me do that which is faithful so we can all live it. Yeah. Well, Jesus told me. No, Earl. Don't just pray to me. Pray to all the faithful that are praying to me, because they're praying to you. And make sure we all do this, so we're not buying and selling Starbucks on TV anymore. We're living the Lord's Prayer. There you go. And they're not all smiling and happy to be on a stupid latte commercial. That's true. That they're all smiling and happy because they're living the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer, so we can understand the omnipotence of God and live Psalms and Proverbs and stop seeing the Golden Globe Awards and saying, "Hey, what a bunch of fucking, glam idiots." Yeah. And what about their tech geeks? That's their propaganda tool bags right in front of you. Oh, let's make that stop. Okay. I'm working on it.